What would you say you do here?
It's the Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast. A podcast dedicated to up-and-coming bands, labels, artists, and more. Plug in and join your host, Brad Nunnery, as he dives deep into what the future of music has to hold and discover something new along the way. What else do you have to do?
Hey, this is Travis.
And Jeremy.
From Bitters and Distractions.
And you're listening to Signal Chords,
home of the Underground podcast.
Say what you want, I need an end to this. Got nothing left to give, it's always relative. Falling asleep to sound violence, trash talking nihilist, rap singing libelous. All you wanted was control again, now you're saddled with disgrace, hanging heavy from the arguments. The expression left your face, hard way to live, under a pile of bricks, pushing sword to breathe, the thought makes me weep. All you wanted was control again, now you're saddled with disgrace, hanging heavy from the arguments. The expression left your face, all you wanted was control again, now you're saddled with disgrace, hanging heavy from the arguments. The expression left your face.
That was The Expression That Left Your Face by our good friends in Bitters and Distractions, a really killer punk rock acoustic duo based out of Long Island, New York. Many thanks to Travis and to Jeremy for recording that promo for us. Really do appreciate it, guys. Now, they released an EP in 2024, just last year, on Sell the Heart Records. It's called The Home That Procrastination Built. Really killer stuff from those guys. But if you want to find out more about the band, you can visit them on any social media platform at Bitters and Distractions. All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Brad Nunnery. Welcome to Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast, Season 3, Episode 2, presented by my really good friend, Jeff Small, over at 1603 Designs. My guests tonight are Steve and Andrew. They are from the band Challenger, a really killer alternative rock / emo band based out of Delaware. Really killer stuff from these guys. They just released a brand new debut LP. It's called The Aluminum Hand. It's out now via Heading East Records. It was produced by none other than Fred Mascherino of Taking Back Sunday and The Color Fred. So we're going to talk to those guys all about how they got hooked up with him, the making of the record. We're going to break down some of the songs, shows that I got coming up. But for now, let's go to their first song off The Aluminum Hand. It is called Hoodie Kid, and it's on Signal Chords, home of the Underground podcast.
I buried myself today in the cemetery where we used to play. So when the seasons change, I'll be your favorite name to read. Nothing's permanent, so wise that just something that we used to. I could stumble home tonight, I'll be waiting for you. I can't stand being without you, babe, but I just like being alone. When the radio sounds just like a face, I know I'm home. Emergency across the wire, the tongue-tied truth sounds like a lie. So now when you're away, I'll be your memory. Nothing's permanent, so wise that just something that we used to. I could stumble home tonight, and I'll be waiting for you. I can't stand being without you, babe, but I just like being alone. When the radio sounds just like your face, I know I'm home. Another 6 months to move away. Which way, I don't know, but the record still spins in outer space. So I'm home.
Steve, Andrew, thank you so much for joining the podcast. Really do appreciate it, guys. How you guys doing?
Great, man. Thanks for having us, Brad.
Thank you so much for having us. We're doing great. Really appreciate you having us on.
Yeah. No, it's been a long time coming. You know, your new album, well, actually your debut album. I know you guys had a little EP earlier back in 2022, but this is your first full length, The Aluminum Hand. I want to talk to you guys all about it because you know, I love the visuals that you guys have on social media and all that kind of stuff, and it's really cool the way that you've kind of presented this new album, this debut album, and that's really cool. And I want to talk to you about that. I'm going to talk to you about Heading East Records, working with Fred Mascherino from Taking Back Sunday, all that good stuff, the process. But you know, since you know, I got a kind of a glimpse into your biography. You guys have been around for like 10 years, but you know, how did Challenger come about? You know, if you guys just put out a first record right now, if you guys been together for about 10 years.
I'm gonna let you take that, Steve.
Oh, all right. Yep. Well, Andrew and I have been friends for a long time, probably since like 2006, and he was in a different music project called Stallions with one of our mutual friends, and they were looking for a keyboard player, and I joined.
And turns out that was Steve.
Turns out that was me.
Yeah.
I could play the keyboard. I could play the.
He can
keyboard
also
too.
play the keyboard,
Yeah.
Oh,
So
nice.
So I joined that band, and
which is great.
Yeah, it is cool. Yeah, that was the first instrument I learned how to play. My parents.
It's cool when you can play more than one thing.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, especially in the studio, you don't have to hire anybody or any of that kind of stuff. You could just do everything pretty much yourself, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, so
No,
we
go ahead.
we played in that project for a while, and we've just kind of continued to make music together in different projects. Before this one, we had a project called The Limits, which was kind of more of like a pop electronic band that we played out a little bit with, and then we kind of like, if you listen to the EP that we put out in 2022. There's like the three songs are like a little bit different, so we were kind of trying to.
We were
find
trying to
out, like,
figure out what
Sure.
the Aluminum Hand would be, or what this band would be with that
So
EP.
it's like almost like a demo. It's almost like a recorded demo.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of, and then we really liked the guitar stuff that we were
Yeah.
doing, because before it was a lot of keyboards, electronic drums, stuff like
Yeah.
that, and then we've decided we really wanted to lean into the guitar side of things, and you know, make a heavier record that was more kind of influenced by the music that we liked growing up, and like the you know, the 2000s emo scene and stuff like that. So yeah, that's how we got together, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, and you can hear that in the Aluminum Hand. You know, that throwback to that 2000s emo, and it's, you know, it's brought out to the forefront again. You know, I think it's getting a lot more popular, and you know, and I think that people nowadays are more wanting that more, you know, because they miss those times. They have those big festivals, you know, remember when we were Young Fest and all that kind of stuff. People still want to hear that type of music, you know what I mean? And you guys
I just think, yeah, that music just sounds good to the ear. So I think it'll never go away. I don't.
No, it won't go away. It's you know, and listening to this album sonically, and I think one of the first things I said to you guys, it just sounds huge. Like I just love I don't know, I can hear every single instrument. I can hear the bass, I can hear the drums, I can hear guitars. I mean, like everything in the mix, that it was mixed really well. That's what I really love about it.
Well,
I love the fact. What's that?
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's all good. No, go ahead.
Well, I think it's because we spent 2 years, 2.5.
Yeah, 2.5 years, kind of.
2.5 years
Yeah.
from the start of, and we just decided at the beginning, there's going to be no rush to this. It's just going to be, when it's done, it's going to be done. And along with who mixed and mastered it, which is our friend Lewis, Godfather 666, who kind of makes you hear everything and makes it big.
He's one of the most gifted people.
He played drums on the album as well.
Oh, did he? Yeah.
Drums too. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a fun listen to. I love the fact that you put that that 408 part in there, and that kind of like little break into the next song. I always love it when bands do that, and just like the vocals and the special effects you have on your vocals, Andrew. It sounds awesome, and I love that. Like,
Thank you.
You know, in between that breaks, and you know, the Aluminum Hand is like the last track right on the record, and it's such a perfect like ending of an album. And I don't know if people nowadays still listen to full albums in their entirety, but I still do. I'm an old school cat. I love like sitting down and listening to a full album from start to go. Now, Spotify's great if you want to hear singles or new bands and all that kind of stuff, but then I just love the experience of the full album, and that's what I get from listening to the Aluminum Hand. It's like, what's coming next? You know, is it a heavy song? Is it a melancholy song? You know, that's what I really love about this record.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
The goal, definitely.
Was thank you. And that's why we tried to keep it, like, we kept it to 30 minutes even on purpose, because you can't, you know, that's like your drive to work.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere's a half an hour away. Like, at least that's how it is here in Florida. I don't know how it is.
You know what I mean? Like, that's enough. That's just enough time.
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
too much time.
Are you guys both up in Delaware, or are you?
Yeah, we live outside of Wilmington.
He's in his basement, and I'm upstairs in his house.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, nice. So you guys are pretty close, aren't you?
No, we live a mile away from each other. He's down where we make the music. I'm upstairs where the lights look good, and we listen to the music after we make it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And where did you record the album?
We did the drums and the vocals at Fred Mascherino studio, which is called Diver Down. That's in Westchester, Pennsylvania. And I tracked all the guitars here in my studio, but I took the DI up to his studio and reamped all of the guitars. So that way, you know, it was perfect. I played the parts perfectly, and I could just go up and just play them out of the amps and just record them. It was just super easy because I could spend as much time as I wanted down here with my headphones on, getting the parts perfect. And then he's got a great setup up there as far as his
studio.
amps.
His studio rocks.
His studio is great.
And then he's there too, so it rocks.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. Let's get right into it. How did you get hooked up with Fred Mascherino?
Take it away, Steve.
Well, he put up like an Instagram story that said he was giving Skype guitar lessons, and I DM'd him, and I was like, hey man, I mean, I've been playing for a really long time, but like I'm looking to, you know, try and learn some new things, you know, teach an old dog, you know, some new tricks. So I started taking Skype guitar lessons from him, and I really wanted to learn like more about music theory and things like that. You know, when I started playing guitar when I was young, as soon as I could play like a Green Day or a Blink-182 song, I thought I was like good to go, and I stopped learning that stuff. So you know, so he was helping me with that, and that was like right around the time that we were finishing up the EP. So he dug that definitely, and then the guitar lessons kind of turned into like, hey, check out this like riff that I'm working on for this song, and then we just kind of, you know, made friends and just like worked on the album together. So like I started going up to the studio instead of doing the lessons over Skype. So I'd go up with like a riff, and I'd show him how to play it, and then we would just like work on it together and just like take it to the next level. I mean, he kind of
he fell into being the producer in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like almost by default, right? Because he's helping you. He's hearing what you're.
Yeah, it was kind of a natural thing that happened.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's so funny because I had seen him. He had come down to Orlando, played Will's Pub here in Orlando with another band from Jacksonville. They're called Knives. And I went to go see Knives play because I've interviewed them before and I've helped promote their music as well. So they're like, hey, we're coming to Orlando. You know, I'm like, any band that I help promote or whatever comes to Orlando and they tell me, or if I'm paying attention, I'm definitely going to check out. And so I went out there and I knew that Fred was headlining and everything. I'm like, I didn't know what, it was like a Monday or Tuesday night or whatever it was. So I didn't.
You made it happen.
What's that?
You went to it.
Yeah, I went to it, and it was like pouring rain. I get there, and then, you know, there wasn't like a big crowd at the beginning, and so it was great. And I see Fred at the merch table, and I introduced myself, told him who I was, and I know that he had worked with another guy in a band from New Jersey He does some local promotion with a venue up there that Fred's played at before, done some acoustic stuff. So I kind of name dropped and I said, "Hey, do you know so and so?" And he's like, "Yeah, I know that guy." He's like, "How do you know him?" And I told him I run a podcast, and he goes, "Oh, no way, I run Heading East Records." I'm like, "Oh, really?" Send me back and forth, and we just had a really amazing conversation. Super nice guy. And Sleep Cycles is on that is on Heading East Records as well, and I've helped them out a lot. Really super nice guys. So it was really cool. And he's like, "I'll follow you right now," and I'm like, "Holy crap! Fucking Fred Mascherino is following me right now! Like this is like amazing, I was like,
yeah,
that's pretty stoked.
Yeah, we felt the same way, man.
Yeah, well, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. He's the man.
Yeah, that's awesome. So let's go ahead and we'll get back to some back history here in a second, but I want to talk about Hoodie Kid. It's the intro song of the album. It's my favorite song off the album, lyrically and musically. And I wrote some notes down. I got a couple beers last night, so I wrote some notes down while I was listening to it. And bear with me if some of it doesn't make sense. All right.
No, it's all good, man. Go for it.
It's the perfect intro song to the album. Love the lyrics and theme of the song. The chorus is hooky as hell, and no matter what, and I guess the theme that I took from it is no matter what happens, the music is still there. It's like, if you're gonna leave, that's cool. I still got my music. I still got whatever to distract me, kind of a thing. That was my vibe from it.
I'll be good if you're gone.
Yeah. Okay, so basically.
You nailed it. Actually, you actually completely nailed it after a couple beers.
Yeah. Well, I felt like that many a times growing up, in the dating scene and all that kind of stuff, or even just with friendships, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes friendships go south or whatever. It's like, no, it's cool.
You just say, "I'll figure it out."
Yeah, and you have those songs to just, you find a good record, and you're like, you know what, it's going to distract me for another 5 minutes, and I'm like 10-second Tom. Like, it's like, all right, you leave me, whatever, I'll listen to a song, and then I'm over it, you know what I mean? And then I can just move on. It's just one of those things, right?
I call that kind of music, or at least that song, like Monday morning music. Yes. If that makes sense. You put it on, and you're good. I'm fine. You're good.
Yeah,
if that makes sense to you.
No, absolutely. And it's funny because funny that you say that it's a Monday morning song. And what I love about songs is what I look for in some songs, or some songs stand out to me that are road trip songs. And I've said this on the podcast before, like road trip songs. Like, you're gonna make a playlist of road trip songs. And in this song in particular, as well as Calm, are both road trip songs to me. You're just chilling, you're driving down the freeway, the highway, or whatever it is, and it comes on, and it's just like, it's great. It's a good feeling that you have, and that's what Hoodie Kid does with me. So
thank you very much. That's awesome.
Yeah, let's talk about on the CDR. There's 2 of them, man.
That was Hoodie Kid was the first. You could probably answer this better than me. But Hoodie Kid was the first idea for this record.
Yeah.
Or guitar, like a guitar. The first guitar part was made is the like the beginning. That's the beginning of this. That was the beginning of this whole thing.
Yeah, it was the first riff that I made
for
the record, and it was the first song. Yeah.
And when he sent it to me, I was like,
beginning.
Yeah, like just the intro. And when he sent it to me, I was like, okay, I think we found out what our sound, what we want our sound to be as a band, cohesively, and then that was it. Then we just made song after song after song, based on kind of relating to that feeling.
Now, my question is the Hoodie Kid the guy on the album cover? Is that a theme that kind of works its way out since you have that? Or is that completely different, the artwork and way that was kind of scripted? Because you got that guy on the hood.
The whole album is about that character.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one of those.
It's a story. It's a story. It really is a story. A 30-minute story that you can listen to.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you guys are recording songs or putting stuff together, did the lyrics come farther after you get the melody and you get the riffs and all that kind of stuff, and then you sit down with a pen and paper and just figure it out, or do you have an idea of the story and then you just put it to the music? How does that usually work?
Well, it's usually right for me, at least, writing lyrics. It always comes, the melody comes first, but then I usually tend to hope to or aspire to write the lyrics as soon as possible, right on the spot,
Yeah.
to not overthink and go back and juggle lyrics back and forth. But for this one, since we did it with Fred, we kind of got to write. I kind of had the opportunity to write everything that, my brain could push out for what we were trying to do, and then fine tune it with Fred during the post production actual vocal takes, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
No, yeah.
I got to get his advice on, well, maybe we can do this here and there, and I was like, oh, well, I would have never thought of that, so that's great. So let's do that.
Yeah. Do you kind of I know that there've been some bands that say that we just find the melody and we just scatter, vocally, just trying to get the melodies and not make like nonsensical words, kind of a deal.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay,
Yes.
cool. Like scatter.
Yes.
What do they call it? Scat writing or whatever.
It's like yes, and I basically, for me, I will just try to find like an interesting or cool word, one word, and then just, I don't know if the term's scat, but you just make noises over the melody, and then like your mouth moves into this word that's interesting or cool, and then I personally just base everything around that one cool word that I come up with.
It'd be really cool to see is the process of that.
You don't want to see that.
Just like you in the studio with like your phone and like you go.
No, it's just like this.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because all the scatting is in my head.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Unless,
I would.
unless I'm alone.
Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah. The way it starts is I'll come up with like what I think will be like the verse of the song or the chorus of the song. I'll have a chord progression, bare bones, bass, guitar, and then I'll send it to Andrew. And a couple days later, he'll just come down. We'll set up the vocal mic and everything like that, and I just put it on in his headphones, just loop the part over and over again.
Then I'll just sit on the couch,
phone, and then he just gets up, and there's the lyrics. So it's like it's almost like a stream of consciousness, because it happens so quick. It's almost like when you're writing like a guitar part or something like that. It's like the first thing that comes out is like the thing you want to keep, and it's the best thing. So the majority of like the lyrics and the vocals, like, we're pretty close to the
within like the first. They were, the majority of it is like within me coming over to Payne's house and just singing. But then we got the opportunity to do it over with the proper vocal sessions.
Right.
About 2 years later with Fred to polish them.
Sure.
So it was awesome. It was really awesome.
Yeah, no, and you don't want to let a good idea die, right? Like if you have something that comes up brilliant, because if you're rewriting and it just doesn't sound like authentic, right? Like you're coming out and you're just trying to, you're doing it, and it's like, okay, that's great. That's like, move on. Like I'm my worst critic. I would hammer things over and over again and try to do things 20 different times and rewrite and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes you just have to just go with it and let it go and say, okay, let's just work on this and find a good ending to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And the awesome thing about Fred was he would offer an idea that correlated with that idea, even if it was like completely different, but he knew that it would fit with what I was doing to begin with, if that
Yeah.
makes any that
Yeah.
makes sense.
No,
So it was
it's
awesome.
good. Yeah.
It was like I got to go over everything I did with Fred
Nice.
talking to me in a talk back, which
Yeah.
was awesome.
Yeah, and like you said, you're taking time with it. You know what I mean? There's like no pressure to come up with it. You're just going and enjoying the process and
Yeah, we
doing
weren't
it, right?
we weren't thinking that anyone was waiting to hear this
Sure.
or
Well, now,
impatient to hear it, if that
right?
makes
Well, yeah. No. Well, now that you got the aluminum handout, now everybody's going to be wanting more, right? They're going to now you're going to feel the pressure of being in the studio and writing everything and not taking another 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, now we know what to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you figured it out, right? You figured out what your music is and how how it should be and how it should turn out, right?
And how it comes out the best to us.
Yeah. And Steve, what about your guitars and songwriting, and songwriting when it comes to guitars? And I know you have a couple more guys in the band. You have another guitar player now in the band because
Yes.
you guys will be performing live, and we're going to talk about that here in a second. But writing the guitar work for this, what was your kind of idea and goal going into this record, and how you wanted it to sound? Because it sounds great as far as the guitar work as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be down here in the basement, and just a lot of the times I like to start out something with like a kind of an ambient thing, like say the intro to like Hoodie Kid. Like you could play a million different like chord progressions over top of that. So a lot of the times my idea will start with like that, something that's kind of not like generic, but something that you can paint over really easily, and then I'll find the progression that I like, and then start to add other things in there, and then my ear will take me to the next part. I'll be like, okay, what's the note that the chorus should start on, or the bridge, or whatever. Like, where does my ear like want to go? And then I find that first note. Okay, that's going to be the start, and then do it all over again. Find like a lead or something that's nice that I can play over top of to find that chord progression. And I'm always thinking like,
Sure.
What I'm thinking about Andrew too, and like what he likes to sing over, and like his sweet spot and his vocal range, and like trying to like make this stuff right there, so I know he can just come in and it'll be easy for him to sing over, because the progression and everything is like right there for him.
Yeah, and did you record the bass too? Like, did you do all the bass recording for it as well?
Yeah, I did the bass too, and the there's keyboards and stuff in there, and like all that ambient stuff in the interludes and stuff like that. Yeah, that's all me.
Payne took the workload on this one. He did everything besides the drums. Yeah, he took everything besides the drums and the vocals.
Oh man, I mean,
which is the bulk of it.
Yeah, you're the utility man. I mean, that's like
that's why they call it's called the Payne train.
Yeah. I should have put that in the little scroller back, the Payne train, and Andrew join the podcast. No, that's how I introduce you on the social media a post, the Payne train.
Yeah.
I'll do a hashtag of it.
Hashtag Payne train. Man.
No, but it's fun. Huh?
I said choo choo.
Yeah.
Here I come.
No, it's like I always loved and respected and hated at the same time people who could play every single instrument, because I was jealous. I'm be honest, man. Like you had mentioned earlier that you learned piano, and I've learned piano. I'm not good at all. I know some chords that make it you fudge around, and people are like, "Oh man, you're really good," but I just play chords up and down the, you know what I mean? I make it sound good. The only song I know is "Chariots of Fire." That's the only song I know, but I was always jealous of people who just pick up an instrument like, oh, I'll just play bass today, and then play bass, and then pick up the guitar, then drum, all that kind of stuff. So it's great having that in the studio, and actually and doing it. But kudos to you, man, being the Payne train. That's what I'm saying. It's a long form compliment to you, buddy.
The funny thing is, I don't know how to play any songs on the guitar or on the piano. I just like to make stuff up, and I don't remember the stuff that I make up either. Like I gotta go now that we're going back to like.
Yeah, he'll say record this, please.
Yeah,
With your
Right,
phone.
right.
I'm just going.
Record this with your phone, please.
Yeah, I'm just going for it. It's just coming out, and yeah. So now I got to relearn all my guitar parts. I mean, it's not hard because I did play them before, and I know them in my head, and you know I got the muscle memory, you know, from playing for so long. But like I'm in the midst of practicing them and relearning them at the moment, so that we can take this show on the road.
Yeah, speaking of which, you have your first show on April 19th at the Foundry in Philadelphia. It's the Heading East Fest, which features all the artists that are on Heading East Records, along with the color Fred Mascherino, going to be performing that. So that's going to be your debut, I guess, as they say, as a full band, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, not bad for a first show, I'd say. Yeah, we're pretty excited.
Yeah, very excited.
Is a really nice place.
And we're from the area, so
how far is Philadelphia from where you guys are at?
40 minutes.
35 minutes?
45. Just sometimes there's traffic, but yeah, it's not very far.
Oh, very cool.
Between
And like
us.
you said, you guys got to kind of brush up, and you guys doing a lot of practicing from now until then?
So we actually haven't gotten everybody together to practice as a group yet, but everyone's been practicing on their own. So
On their parts,
I've gotten together with the guitarist to like arrange the parts. I'm like, I'm gonna play this, you play this, stuff like that. The drummer has, the tracks, he's learning them. Same.
we've
with
all
the
kind
bass.
of kind of known each other because we've all kind of played in bands since we were 15.
Yeah.
In this area, so we're pretty confident that we'll like be able to pull it off since everybody has done this a million times.
Yeah, we're all professionals. We've been doing it for a
All
long
seasoned
time.
veterans, yeah.
Yeah, and when you have the album recorded, you can play along to it and learn the songs. So it's just a matter of when you get into the room together, just kind of meshing together.
And now it's more like, how do we want to present it on stage? Like,
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's that
how do you
element
want
on
to?
that. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is awesome. That's as close as writing the record as to how do you present it.
Yeah, and I would think after working on an album for 2 years and finally playing it out and playing it live is just such a surreal experience. You know what I mean? Of all the 2
I
years
can't
of
wait. Yeah,
the 2 years of hard work of scripting these songs and the lyrics and everything, and then everything just and it's such an amazing show, like you said, such an amazing show to debut. With the record label and with all the other bands on there. And, I've listened to a lot of bands that are on that label, and, Fred's got a really great ear as far as the bands that are on that label.
absolutely.
Yeah.
nothing
So
but,
like if you're,
great bands, seriously.
if you're a fan of Challenger, you're a fan of Sleep Cycles. I mean, Heading East
Well,
Records.
yeah, we couldn't
that's
be
where it's
more
at.
grateful to be a part of the group of artists.
Yeah, I wish I lived a little closer. I would have loved to see you guys play, but hopefully you guys do.
It's
lot
not a
more
long
shows
drive, man. It's not a long drive. Just scoot
From
up.
Orlando to here,
What?
man. Oh, yeah.
Just scoot up. Scoot up 95.
I got 3 kids and 2 dogs and mortgage. Oh man, I'm
Just bring them all.
I'm going to my I should. No, I'm going to my first show in February. I try to get out as much as I can now. Like do guys' night or whatever with my buddy and
Yeah,
like
I know.
said,
Yeah.
you gotta schedule it months in advance, and get all
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Andrew doesn't know.
how it
anything
is,
about
but
I have 2 kids. I know exactly what you're talking
okay,
about.
cool. Yep. So no, it's all
Yeah,
good,
you
but
gotta
hopefully-
if you gotta schedule 3 months in advance to go to the store.
Yeah. I had to tell my wife like literally 3 times today, hey, but just remind you I have a podcast today. She's like, oh, fuck. So I tell her that, and it's like she has to put the kids down to bed, and I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, sorry, I'm going in there. I have to
But
do
it's
it.
it's a good thing, It's
Yeah,
good.
no, absolutely. All right, let's talk about Calm. I love this song. It's heavy. It starts off really heavy, like just like that Deftones-ish, like that prog, that prog stuff. Like I love the heaviness, and then out of nowhere, like Andrew, your vocals are just it's like almost higher, like a higher range, to where it's like it's a surprising, you know what I mean? Like I was like thought it was just gonna go heavy, and then then your vocals are a little bit higher, like a higher, I don't know the music term for it, but it works a lot with it. Like it's like, oh hell yeah, that groove, and you feel that groove, and then it goes into your vocals, and that's what I really love about it. And here's my drunk, okay, full transparency here, bear with me. I said vocals are like a breath mint, so it's like refreshing to hear that type of vocals under that heavy music undertow, underbelly, should I say, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, and I would say, because that's probably the verse of that song is probably, I don't know how this is going to sound, or even if this is how you describe it, but the most like insecure I would be about the verse of that song in terms of vulnerability, how it sounds.
Why?
Just because I didn't think about it.
Yeah.
And I just went with exactly what my brain was telling me. But then I was like, this doesn't sound good. This is too much of that thing or whatever this sounds like. Yeah. So I went back and forth a lot with the verse of that song. But then the thing that brought me to realizing that what I was doing was okay was the brief, I don't know what you would call it, a pre-chorus or a pre-chorus of where the comes, goes. That being in there makes it make sense to me to be able to listen to it without throwing up.
How many times do you like throw up when you actually hear your vocals back? Like I'm always curious about like vocalists and like hear themselves talk, or sing, I should say.
Oh, I would say that like everyone who does it has that sort of feeling, but if you spend enough time on it and do it right, like this one, like I really don't feel that with this record.
Yeah.
At all.
That's because it sounds great, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've told people.
Well, thank you, but but you know and you can ask anybody who's a singer, like, they, you know,
or anybody who records their voice or any of that kind of stuff. Like with my podcast, like I can't listen to myself. I can't watch my old podcast.
Right.
It's like Cringe Fest 98. You know what I mean?
And you're just talking. You're just talking. Imagine going, whoa.
My wife hears that after 12 beers on a Friday night.
And then listening back to that, and then
yeah.
But it's just part of it, you know.
Sure.
Being a singer.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. All right, so let's talk about Bones. Of course, I want to save the best for last. It was my first
favorite.
Single. Yeah, it's your first single, or it was your first single off the record. Featuring Fred Mascherino. I love it, hands down, love it. It's a perfect song to listen to on expensive studio speakers. That's one of my notes.
Hell yeah.
I love the different progressions between the slow and mid-paced vibes into the heavy chorus. I love the slow down towards the end into the heaviness looking back to the chorus. So those were my notes on that song. If you guys could talk to me and walk me through this song and how it came to be.
Go ahead, Payne.
Yeah, a lot of these songs, like Calm and this one, like when we started writing them, I was like, oh, these are kind of a little bit heavier. And one of the times I was up at Fred's, working on some guitar, doing a lesson or whatever, he mentioned that he had layered baritone guitars I think on louder now. So like a guitar that's tuned down a little bit more just to give it like more beef. And I was like, that would be like a great addition. So I bought a baritone guitar and figured out how to use that on top, and that's where you get that low, like heavy guitar. But that wasn't there. That was like a midway through, like, demoing out everything. I was like, wow, I want to try and do that, and it just like worked really well. And I think especially for like that song and for Calm especially, it made it sound like what I wanted, nice and heavy.
Like emo Tool, Deftones, emo Tool.
Yeah.
Emo Tool.
Yeah, I think
that's how I was describing what I was hearing when we first started. That
I think we
Emo
named
Tool.
the demo
Emo Tool.
Emo Tool because we were
Oh,
like,
did you?
okay,
Yeah.
Yeah, because we loved Tool, and then
Yeah.
we grew up on listening to that 2000s emo stuff, and we love it. But we also love Tool, and we were like, let's put them together.
Yeah. So
Yeah, no, I mean it fits perfectly. It's one of those.
But then we also have we have feels that doesn't, it's more pop, but then you still get that baritone drop.
at the end.
So yeah, I guess
At the
emo
end, yeah.
tool there as well.
I'm definitely gonna have to write a note and listen to it again and try to associate it with it. I'm excited to do that. And knowing those insights into it, that's really badass. Yeah, it's such a great song, and it's probably the perfect song to kick off
And
the
Incubus
record,
as well. Incubus.
Yes, very
big
airy and
Incubus
spacey,
guys
like the
here,
way
man.
that Incubus
Yep.
used to do. And
Big fans of Incubus. So you go through phases, like that's what we grew up listening to. But then you're like, is that cool anymore? But then we were like, let's just write what we listened to, and
yeah,
we came up with Emo Tool, Incubus, and it came out great to us.
Yeah,
so
I
hopefully everybody digs it.
yeah, it's one of those. Yeah, now, do you like Incubus now, like the new records they're putting out now, or are you?
I haven't
'cause
listened. I haven't listened to.
Make
I listened
yourself
to.
a morning.
I've
View.
listened to Make
Amazing.
Yourself in Morning View. After that,
Yep.
there's one about a grenade or something.
Light grenade.
Lightning Grenade
When-
or whatever. Yeah, yep.
When the drummer changed, I stopped. But I did see live video of them playing, and it was sick. Is that my noise?
Them,
Is that my noise?
a few times in the last like maybe 10 years, and they still.
Yeah, I saw a
they
video,
still
and
go.
they've riffed.
Yeah, they're still very, very good.
I think
Yeah,
Elon
I mean-
Musk was in the concert audience with the
Really?
clip I saw, rocking out to Incubus. I'm just making
Oh,
sure.
boy.
Yeah. Who knows?
No, that's because I like anything after like Morning View was okay.
Morning View is just.
Yeah, Morning
When
View
that-
was like probably the
the
last
D-
record.
did you
I
see the
actually really listened
DVD?
to.
Oh,
I don't
Did you
think I
see
did.
So they put out a DVD of them making it.
Oh, in that big giant house, right in the California
Yes.
hills and shit.
Yes, yeah, and it was like the best
Yeah.
environment to make what they made, and it's exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like that song "Circles" is tough as shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like a lot
It's-
of those songs are melodic but still hard.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny because I remember seeing pictures or videos. I must have seen it. Must have been years ago, but it was one of those things where I'm like, oh, here we go. They're going to Hollywood Hills. They're totally gonna sell out. They're gonna sound like shit or whatever. And I just remember being like, kind of disappointed in it. But like the older I get, the more I enjoy that record now, right? Like because I was such an Incubus purist. I was like the Mr. Bungle. I like the Mr. Bungle Incubus, the science. Enjoy Incubus.
All of that stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we were just younger. I guess I don't know, but when that came out, because I always loved what's the song, "Meet Me in Outer Space."
A Stellar.
Yeah, and that record before that.
Yep.
They were harder, but then when Morning View came out, it was like a polished version of all of it. Like when the Morning View chorus comes on, or the Wish You Were Here chorus drops. Come on, I mean, yeah. What's bad about that?
No, yeah, it's such a one of those records that it's like almost a time capsule. Like you always remember when you heard it and all
and the
that
record
kind of stuff.
cover.
Yeah, the record cover and all that kind of stuff. So now, speaking of which, and this is one of my questions. So, like growing up, everybody has like their one band that got them hooked into music, and that's what that you knew you loved. And Steve and Andrew, if you could tell me that one band that like basically, because like Faith No More was like my band, like that was the first band that I said that was my own. This is the most different shit I've ever heard. I'll follow these guys for the next 40 years, and I did. But what's that one band for you guys that you look back and you're like, man, if it wasn't for that record or that band, I wouldn't be here today. You could take a couple minutes to think about it if you want. Take a smoke break.
At the drive-in.
At the drive-in, really.
That was it. See you later.
Yeah.
I guess mine happened a little earlier because Blink 182 was like I was like obsessed with that band when not so much anymore, but that was probably like the most into like a band I ever was. It was like my identity for a while. I dressed like them. I had posters of them all over my wall and stuff like that. So I look back on that. I think I got my ear for melody probably from liking like that style of music, and like the ear for like the chord progressions that I like from that band. But I mean, as I got older, like At the Drive-In, Mars Volta, and and the heavier stuff like Tool, Deftones, Incubus, like we said.
There's a band called Orange Island. They were Orange Island. They were on Iodine Records from Massachusetts. That was another one. When I saw them live, I was like, because they kind of moved. The music is much different in the sense of like what these two bands are, but when I saw that band, the energy was the same that At the Drive-In put out. And I would say those two bands, and a band called Christensen from Louisville, Kentucky.
Never heard
You can
of them.
look. Yeah, you can look up. Yeah, those three bands
you should check out, definitely, man.
Yeah, those three bands were like when I was like, all right, I'm gonna fake going to my first semester of college.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, is there a band that you followed for a band that's still together, kind of a bigger band that you're still, obviously Tool, you guys still going to Tool shows, or do they ever?
Yeah, I saw them last year, actually. Yeah.
Did you?
In Philadelphia, yeah. I still follow them. I mean, I got Deftones and Mars Volta tickets coming up. I'm going to see Metallica, so I still follow all those guys, for sure. And
the Hives. The Hives.
Yeah,
I went to that was one of the one shows we went to that like I would go out of my way to go out to see.
They were
the guy they're insane. Best. And I've seen the Rolling Stones, and everybody says they're the best. Like that band live.
Yeah.
And I got no, I never saw it at the drive-in, but when you bring it hard, like real and like those are the bands that probably.
I mean, those guys are like
me.
1,000 miles an hour on stage, and it's just
still, man,
they just
they're still
completely
wild.
freaking rip.
And the new album's insane. It's so sick.
Yeah, we love.
Yeah,
it's
I don't
really
understand
good.
why they're. I don't understand why they aren't like the biggest band in the world. I mean, they are.
I think they are. I just don't think everybody knows they are, and they kind of joke about it on their Instagram.
Yeah, they're.
I mean, like they'll play Brazil, and like it'll be like a sea of people, and then like we watched them in Philly, and like it was a smaller venue, but they're like, do you want to dance with us? Like, come on,
Yeah, I was living in L.A. I went to Full Sail. I went to a recording engineering school here in Orlando.
I went to Full Sail, bro.
Did you really?
You guys can talk it out.
So we're gonna nerd out. We're gonna nerd out together.
Yeah, probably were roommates.
When were you there?
Oh shit, I was there in 99, 2000.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I was just a little bit behind you, but yeah, I went for the same degree, man.
Oh shit. Oh, we're recording engineering buddies. Oh, nice.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and then I kind of realized that, well, one, you have to go, serve people coffee for a while and not make any money, an intern, and I didn't really have the, the resources to go do that, and I also realized that I hated working on other people's music, and that music is like my thing, and I didn't realize that, but it took spending, well, I mean, I'm still paying off those loans today, so I'm still learning from that, but I mean, it was a great opportunity, and it got me into being able to like record and step up those skills, and what a cool environment of creative people down there. Made a lot of good friends and connections and things like that. People I still am friends with today.
Yeah, I'm same. I still talk to. I actually heard from one of my buddies. He's living down in South Florida now, and he's a contractor. He's a contractor now. We both went to recording engineering school, and he's a contractor now. So that kind of tells you
cybersecurity. So it's like
I'm in sales, but, so it's a little bit different, but it allowed me to. I got my internship in radio, so I was in radio for 10 years. So it was kind of one of those things where, but when I graduated Full Sail in 99, 2000, I moved out to LA. A guy I was in the Navy with lived out in Burbank, and he's like, I can get you a job out here, making $11 an hour. So I lived in a little studio apartment in Van Nuys, the porn capital of California. And
nice. Was that your side gig, man?
Huh? Yeah. I had to pay rent somehow, dude. Dirk Diggler here.
Whatever it takes.
Yeah, whatever it takes. But yeah, so backtracking that, my buddy was like hardcore into punk, and he's one of the guys that got me into punk, and I got heavily into the Hives back then. And he was in a punk band called the LA's Lab Rats, and they had out there they have like studios where you can rent out a room, and it has its own mixing board, it has its own drums. All you got to do is bring your guitar, it has its own amps, and every Friday and Saturday night I would hang out on the couch and watch them practice and all that kind of shit. Cool, and it was like really cool. It was like that was like the Friday and Saturday night is me hanging out, watching my friend's punk band practice and doing all that. But yeah, the Hives were huge back then, and I was like, holy crap! And I hate to say I told you so, and so many other like classic songs, and over the years, they're just
so many
huge, man.
There's so many songs. It's crazy.
Yeah. Did you say you were in the?
But then when you see them live, that's when you actually get what they are.
Yeah.
Like you can listen to those songs and like you'd be like, oh, this sounds like the Strokes. But then when you go to see them, it's just like, oh, this is a rock and roll band, because there's not much of those.
No, there's not. And what's his name? I forget the lead singer. I mean, he's a total rock star, dude. That guy.
What's his name? It's a Swedish name.
Yeah, it's Swedish.
Pilot.
Anders? Is it Anders? No.
I could look it up, but I don't want to grab my phone.
Yeah.
But the guy rocks.
Big time, man. Yeah.
And he makes light of himself. Doesn't take it seriously.
No, absolutely.
But it takes it as serious as possible at the same time, which is why they're awesome.
there's a band out in LA called the Briefs. I don't know if you ever heard the Briefs, but it's that 3-chord. It sounds just like the Hives, but it's the LA version of the Hives, and they all wear like the 80s specs, like the 80s like glasses and shit or whatever. And they have a song called "Kill Bob Seger." Well, it's called "Silver Bullet," and it's about how they want to kill Bob Seger. So check them out if you like the Hives, you like the Briefs.
Cool,
just that 3-chord bratty, punk rock kind of stuff that that I loved out there. But all right, so let's talk about the future of Challenger. Now, are you guys going to remain with these guys in the band that are helping perform? Are they going to be members, or are they just are you going to expand and form a band and tour and record, or is it just going to be you two guys moving forward and performing? How's that going to work moving forward?
We hope that we all get along and can write a record together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same. Yeah. There's something about I do like
Just
doing
because
it
we've
all
known
myself,
each other.
but,
Sure.
It takes a lot to do it all yourself. So we hope that and I think it'll be possible since we've known each other for so long, the other guys I'm speaking of, that it'll just come together. So
I
and then touring, and this is the only thing we're good at. So in terms of skills,
Sure. No, that makes sense.
in reality.
No, it makes it makes total sense, man. And you got to do it. You put out a record, you got to go and do it, and it's definitely from what I've heard. I'm a huge fan of yours, so I wish you guys nothing but the best.
Thank you very much.
Is there any plans for a physical release? Is Fred going to put out the vinyl for this, or
we really do. We're going to press.
We're already talking about pressing it. Yeah, we're pressing it.
It's going to happen. We're
going to try to press it before the show. So.
Oh, really?
So we're
before the show?
It's kind of crunch time, but we're going to try and get that done. Yeah, so we have it. So,
at least 100 of those for the show.
Save me one of those, and I'll Venmo you and send you over the money. So I want to get my hands on it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're
behind you there.
I don't think.
Oh yeah.
I don't think after working on it for 2 years that I could just not press it. Because we're getting a good response from it, and
yeah. It's your baby too. You want to have something physical, right? Like having it on streaming, it's great, but you want to have some kind of physical, proof.
Yeah, we're gonna hold. We're gonna hold it. We're gonna hold it.
Oh yeah.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I did some voice on some like a radio compilation CD. I did some voiceover stuff, and I remember seeing my name on in the credits, and I just remember going, "Oh my god, it's so awesome! I have a physical piece of thing that has my name on it." You know what I mean? And I was like,
yeah.
I cherish it, and it's probably going to go in like a what do you call it? One of those boxes, like Michael's. You get it, like a shadow box. Yeah.
What the hell is a shadow box?
Huh? It's like when you put like vinyls in like a frame kind of a deal.
Oh,
it's kind of like they call those like shadow boxes kind of a deal.
Yeah,
so you get
put a few things in there, some.
Yeah. No, they look cool as hell. They look very cool. It's like when you put gold records on the wall.
Yeah. And but this one, I don't know if I can do it, especially being a father of 3 girls. The name of the CD is All Hell Yeah, and it was the producer of the morning show. He did a strip club DJ, and what does he do when he gets out of a job when he's not a strip club DJ? Like he's a gas station attendant. He's like, oh hell yeah, I'll pump your gas, kind of like one of those things. And to where so like the CD art.
Oh yeah, man.
Is a strip club. The CD art is a strip club.
Gotta love that.
Pat and Taco, the morning guys, like looking up at a stripper, but I'm like credited in the back of it, and I'm like, I can't really like put that on display for like my kids and shit. I'll just have that in my little
girls
thing
come
here.
over and look at this.
Yeah, Daddy worked on this.
Be proud
Daddy
of your dad.
worked hard on this. Come here.
And the bits I did aren't very good for kids either. So,
yeah.
But no, that's all good. But no, I'm super excited that you guys are going to put out a physical release. super excited about the show. I'm definitely going to be following and seeing pictures and videos and all that good stuff of it, and I'll be following you guys.
Thank you.
From here on out. Really appreciate you guys being a part of the podcast. Really do appreciate
Thank you for having
family
us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you for having. No,
Yeah, this is
sincerely.
This is
Thank
our
you for
first-
having us on here. This
our
is
first
cool.
time doing anything like this. I mean, it's so cool.
As this, yeah,
by somebody that heard your music and they want to talk.
Yeah,
to you,
it's very cool, and we're very thankful.
Yeah. Well, like I said, you guys are podcast family now. And anything you guys want, anything you need, whatever, just don't hesitate and reach out, and we'll go from there. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Yeah, man. Thank you again for having us, and shout out to Heading East Records and Fred Mascherino and everybody.
Shout out to Fred. Everybody.
Lewis, Godfather 666,
Our boy.
everybody that made this record happen. And thank you, buddy.
Yeah,
You're the
thank you.
man.